Okay, well, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. We're hoping this will be the opportunity for you to learn a little more about UCR, about CNAS, about the majors that we offer, hear from expert faculty and students and advisors, and have the opportunity also to ask any burning questions you may have about the majors, the offerings, opportunities at UCR. So what we'll do is we'll just do some introductions at first, so you know who everybody is here from the UCR team. And then Dr. Richard Hooley is going to share more about opportunities here in the college and the majors. And then we'll have time for question and answer and anything that you've ever wanted to know. So that's the plan for tonight. We'll start with students. If you can just popcorn introductions with each other, that would be great. And then we'll move into advisors that are here.
Right, I can start. So I'm Madeline, but you can call me Maddie. I'm a second year math major and environmental sciences minor.
Great. You want to pop it to somebody?
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Ginny Winters. I am a fourth year geology major.
Hello, everyone. I'm a fourth year physics major with an emphasis in biophysics.
Great, thanks, Celine. Maria, you want to kick off the advisor team?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Maria Flores. I am one of the advisors in CNAS.
We got Courtney and Javier.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. My name is Courtney. I'm one of the undergraduate advisors in CNAS. I advise for math and TSS and chemistry.
Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. My name is Javier Ramirez. I am one of the assistant directors for the CNAS Undergraduate Academic Advising Center. Welcome, everybody. I also supervise the majors for chemistry, mathematics, data science, statistics, and the other physical sciences. So welcome.
Great. All right, so I want to introduce Dr. Hooley, who got his undergraduate degrees in natural science from Emmanuel College, Cambridge University, and his PhD in the laboratory of Professor Martin Semmelhack at Princeton. Following a postdoc position in the lab of Julius Rebag Jr. at the Scripps Research Institute at La Jolla, he began his independent career in the Department of Chemistry here at Riverside, and in 2018 was promoted to full professor. He leads the Hooley Group, which work on various aspects of organic, inorganic, and supramolecular chemistry. So I'll let him describe all of his interest areas and turn it over to him for the rest of the session. So thank you, Dr. Hooley.
Thank you. So we have a couple of slides, so I'll see how well I can, let's try this, share. Oh, that, go away, now share screen. Okay, did that work? Can people see that? It's a random cover screen. Okay. Okay, so obviously this is going to be a little bit chemical, but I thought I'd talk about some of the things that you can do in the chemistry department, or at least as part of research and teaching in CNAS, with an obvious emphasis on chemistry. And so chemistry, they always call central science. So that bridges virtually all of the departments from where we have contributors here. We have links to the biophysics department, or the biophysics program, physics department, material science and engineering program, environmental toxicology program, biochemistry department, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so we are basically the core central department in CNAS who collaborate with everyone else. And so here we have an example of a cover from the journal Matter. I believe this is from, I think this is Professor Yarong Yin. It might be Professor Dan Zhang, but don't quote me on that. But this is a recent article looking at the analysis of nanoparticles. And so here are some examples of the kind of research that you can do in the chemistry department. And so, you know, everybody's used to chemistry, just, you know, doing new reactions and creating new molecules, kind of thing that you get in general chemistry or inorganic chemistry. But we have our tendrils in a whole load of different areas. So we have researchers who do computational chemistry and theory. And so that works in determining the isoforms of drug candidates. We have faculty who dock or essentially do analysis of molecular docking between enzymes and their substrates. And we have computational people who work on the structure of nanomaterials and catalysis. We have a whole collection of people who work on the synthesis of new molecules, new catalysts, new reactions for drug discovery and things like molecular recognition. How can you mimic the behavior of a protein in a synthetic chemical state? We have a long history of bioanalytical chemistry. So the analytical chemistry section of the chemistry department at Riverside have been world leaders in that area since certainly the mid-60s. And that has evolved over the years. And so now we have some really excellent people who collaborate with the environmental toxicology program and look at chemical biology. So using top-end instrumentation to analyze different types of physical structures, proteins, DNA, interactions, and drug candidates and things like that. As well as this, we have people who work in materials. So the materials science and engineering PhD program is an interdepartmental program, and we have a lot of contacts with that, essentially using inorganic chemistry to make soft or hard materials. And finally, we have links to physics, and so people who work on a variety of different spectroscopy, atmospheric chemistry, molecular solids, that kind of thing in the chemical physics area, which you can tell I don't do. But all of these things fall under the broad area of chemistry. And that's the kind of thing that hopefully we will introduce you to as part of your broad chemical education in the first 2 years. So if you're a CNAS major, you're going to be doing general chemistry. Like as not, you're going to be doing organic chemistry. And so hopefully all of these little pieces of research can be introduced in those classes in a number of ways. So chemistry department has 5 different degrees. And so this is sort of mimicked by a lot of the CNAS departments. So chemistry has 5 different degrees. We have a BA and a BS in chemistry, essentially boils down to how much math you want to do. And then we also have 3 different other types of emphases. And so we have BS chemistry with environmental chemistry emphasis. And so that links to classes in environmental sciences and show how the chemistry department can address things to do with climate change, soil chemistry, water chemistry. So all those classes would be taken as part of a BS with environmental chemistry emphasis. The BS chemistry with chemical physics is for, well, masochists, people who like math and people who like physics. And so that gives you the ability to bridge chemistry and physics in a rather unique way. And so that then you'd take a large number of upper division physics and math classes, which links into physical chemistry. And we also have a new program where we have linked in with education classes. So you can take classes that work out, or that basically allow you to study education theory and use your education practice as a focus to become teachers in high school in various STEM fields. And so physics has a program like this. I believe math has a program like this. And so we've got a number of different CNAS programs that you can use if you want to become a high school teacher in the STEM fields, which obviously in the Inland Empire is a highly needed job and a very desirable one. So all of this is linked in with the CNAS learning communities. I think you'll have heard about that probably about 27 times today already. But this is one of the advantages we have at UCR. We're going to use these learning communities and place you in a cohort of small number of students who all do the same classes, and you can basically be in a cohort, a sort of liberal arts style collection of students while you're doing these large enrollment classes at a large university like UCR. This is one of the things that we do that none of the other UCs do, and it's been a very effective tool for learning and getting people on track in that first year when you come into college. So with that, if any of you are chemistry majors, we have now created a majors chemistry series. So the chemistry learning community, we have, instead of general chemistry with the general population of physicists and engineers and biologists and all that kind of thing, if you're a chemistry major, you can take majors general chemistry with your chemistry learning community cohort. And so basically that class will be about 40 or 50 people. So you're not in a 300-person lecture Hall, and you'll be able to take general chemistry for the entire year in a liberal arts style, purely chemistry focused environment. So we're pretty excited about that one. This will be the first year we do that. Everybody else, you can take advantage of the learning communities and do regular old general chemistry along with everybody else. So what else can you do? So there's a whole load, you know, most chemistry curricula are basically the same. One of the things that one of the things we're well known for, as I said before, is analytical chemistry. So we have two lab classes, a lower division and upper division lab class, where you do hands-on equipment, also hands-on analysis with actual chemical equipment, a variety of different pieces of instrumentation. And so instead of just cooking things in a flask or a vial, or, you know, with burettes and separation funnels and all that kind of thing, which is awesome, you get to use things like mass specs or mass spectrometers and gas chromatographs and different types of analytical tools. And you can do that as soon as in your second year. Now, one of the new classes we brought in is Advanced Inorganic Chemistry Laboratory. So this is an upper division class, and that's going to introduce you to inert atmosphere techniques, ways to make polymers, ways to make assembled materials, and essentially a bridge between classical inorganic chemistry, sort of wet inorganic chemistry, and the more materials focus that we have in modern research. So that one's pretty new. It's only been going a couple of years. We just started that. Actually, I think the first class is going on right now, and so we're pretty excited about that one. So we also have an honors organic chemistry. So organic chemistry is one of those classes that everybody takes, but we also have a full honors organic chemistry series, which is open to anyone who meets a grade cutoff. It's not just for the honors program, as this is basically doing what we're doing for majors general chemistry for organic chemistry. You can have low enrollment classes and have organic chemistry taught to you in a liberal arts environment. And so that kind of thing, is not common at large state schools. And so we're pretty proud of that one. Talking about environmental chemistry, we have 3 different environmental chemistry classes. We have a lab 140 and then 2 classes which are linked with the environmental sciences department. And so here we, as I said, they're about soil chemistry, water chemistry, and various atmospheric analysis. And so you can link that to a whole load of effects on climate change, such as ozone, carbon gases, methane, CO2, that kind of thing, and how they affect climate change. And finally, the most important thing, so we have a brand new class on educational research, which will start, well, assuming the wheels move, it'll start next year. And so that's an upper division class on learning about how to use educational research for your future career. And the most important one of all is research for undergraduates. And so chemistry is a lab-based science, and this crosses across all of CNAS departments. We are scientists, we do research, we have labs, and that's one of the benefits of coming to a UC is highly involved faculty who work in a significant number of different areas, and you can do research in their labs. And so we have units, or we have classes where you will get units for doing research in those labs. But I strongly advise you to find the faculty that you find interesting and try and volunteer in their labs and do some work. It'll make your degree more fun, and it'll make you certainly more hireable at the end of your degree. And that, as I said, that's chemistry thing, it's a biochemistry thing, it's a physics thing, geology. I'm sure all the students will talk about their research after me. So here are some pretty pictures of research that we do. And so, as I said, Professor Zhang is a computational scientist who works on the study of how nanoparticles assemble. Professor Wang is, I believe he used to be the director of the environmental toxicology program. He's also with chemistry, and so he looks at chemical genomics, and certainly in this particular paper is how DNA G quadruplexes can affect the proliferance of breast cancer. And so essentially using markers to determine breast cancer, using genetic markers to determine the prevalence of breast cancer. Professor Feng is a highly decorated, distinguished professor who works on inorganic materials. And so she has made a long career of metal organic frameworks for catalysis, gas storage, and gas separation. And then myself and Professor Zhang have just started investigating using self-assembled host molecules essentially as biosensors for different types of biological species. This particular one was looking at G quadruplexes in DNA, but we've looked at peptides, proteins, different modifications. We even collaborated with the entomology department to sense insect pheromones in water recently. And so all of these things are the kind of thing that you wouldn't necessarily expect from classical organic chemistry. Here is molecule, make molecule. They're all the things that you can do in a chemistry department. So these research opportunities, now you've probably seen this from Dean Nugent's slides, but here are all the different ways the UCR will give you large amounts of money to do research, okay? And so pretty much we have if you are eligible for these programs, fire out those applications, because there's a whole pipeline of money trying to get, motivated, strong students to get into labs and do research on their own. We have a number of pathways to do this, and so all of these are on the CNAS website. And this one I just stole from Dean Nugent as well, and I'm sure the students will talk about it more, but we have a whole load of different outreach and undergraduate clubs that are looking at different academic and non-academic profiles and things like that. And so all of these are on campus, and you can find out more. You may have seen them at Highlander Day. You can find out more about them on the website. And I'm sure if anyone has any questions, that students will be able to answer them far better than me. So with that, I hope that was quick enough and informative enough. And if anyone has any questions, I will be happy to answer them, and I'll turn it over to whoever's next, probably the students, I would guess.
Great. Appreciate that. And yeah, students, let's have you jump in and talk about, I guess, why you decided to come to UCR. What are some of the things that you're involved in that are exciting to you? And if there's anything you want prospective students to know that they should know right now. Salim, it looks like you're lit up. You want to start?
Yeah. So I transferred from Norfolk College back in fall of 2020. I knew I wanted to do physics, and UCR has a very good physics department, which was very appealing to me. So that is why I chose UCR. I came in, and I'll be graduating this spring. During my time at UCR, I managed to get involved in many things. I got a job on campus. As a CNAS Stampede mentor, I managed to get into all the classes I've been wanting to get into as a third and fourth year student. I got into honors. I researched into different research labs, and yeah, I managed to do all of these things in 2 years. So it was pretty good. In fall of 2022, I'll be attending UCR as a grad student for the biophysics PhD program, and it's been a good experience. So yeah, that's my experience at UCR so far.
Oh, okay. So I also started here in fall of 2020. So I, did the application process back pre-pandemic, and then I got all my acceptances right as the pandemic was beginning, and then everything went online. So I didn't really get to see campus or anything, but what I did get to see is online. I just looked up, I'm a math major, so I looked up UCR mathematics, and it was honestly like one of the best programs that I had gotten into. Being able to look at all the different professors' research, the breadth of research, not only in the mathematics department, but across all departments, and just knowing that every professor on campus does research and is very passionate about what they're doing. That was one of the things that really attracted me to UCR, and I'm so glad that I'm here. Now that I'm here, I have gotten involved in research, which is great. And it's honestly not even difficult to get involved. Like, you get so many opportunities every single day and every single week, maybe. So I currently work in the Hopkins lab, which is a climate change lab, specifically on soil sciences and seeing nitrous oxide emissions from soils and what we can be doing to treat these soils so that they're not emitting as much nitrous oxide. And then I also do math research, which is also super interesting. And don't ever feel tied down. If you want to do multiple things, you can do multiple things in UCR and in CNAS. So my math research revolves around knots and how we can get more efficient at being able to tell different knots apart. And this has a lot of different applications, specifically in biology.
So I am also a transfer student. Like Maddie, I came in also in fall of 2020 from Riverside City College. I came in also during the pandemic, so I didn't get to be on campus as much, but for me, I loved geology because it was so diverse. I could apply my chemistry, my mathematics, and my physics all at the same time while working on one project. So when I took a tour of UCR, when I was looking at choosing a college to transfer, the faculty at UCR made me feel unique. Even before I had been accepted, before I had started in a lab, they had made me feel like I was an individual and this was meant to be my home. And because of the trust and motivation they had looking at me day one, I decided that this is where I wanted to go. And ever since making that decision, I couldn't be more happier. I have been in my lab for about 3 years now. So I work in Dr. Andre Becker's lab. It's a stable isotope lab in our Earth and Planetary Science department. Here we look at isotope signatures in relation to how oxygen started on Earth and how that relates to the development of organisms, both animals and plants, and how that benefited overall more oxygen into our environment. And by doing that, I got to do my own research project. I got to go part-time to Caltech and do more research and work on their instrumentations. And by doing that, I felt at home, I felt involved. And then similar to Salim, because of how great I was treated here, I decided for my PhD after I graduate in summer to continue here at UCR. So I would say for students who are looking at a campus that you want to feel recognized and you want to feel a part of the community, UCR has a great amount to offer you in that respect.
Great. How about those of you joining us, you want to throw in the chat what majors you're exploring here or considering exploring, maybe career paths you're thinking about? Throw those in there so we have a sense of that too. Great, physics. Awesome. Don't be shy. You can say you don't know too. Nothing wrong with exploratory. That's always a great option. Okay. We got William, Matt, Bailey, Timothy. What are y'all thinking? Environmental, great. So maybe either Maria, Courtney, Javier, do you want to talk about advising and what our roles are? Who would like to take a minute for that? Oh, forensic science, all right. All right.
Yeah, I can start with that. It's interesting, environmental science. At our last welcome for the freshmen for Highlander Day, we had an MTSS right on. So MTSS is the mass secondary education, degree. So sitting next to Dr. Barini, who is the lead faculty advisor for environmental science. And very simple things just stand out, as an environmental science major, that we're wrapping up at the end of the day and collecting material. And she wanted to take certain publications of these postcards. I go, well, if you need some more, we can print more. She's all, no, we don't need to keep printing these. So it was the whole aspect of, conserving and not expending more than you need to. So, with that said, we really have close working relationships with lead faculty advisors and faculty within the majors. Our role is really here to be your guide. Oftentimes, you're coming into a new environment. You'll start to get the outlines in your mind. You'll see them in the catalog. You'll see them in online resources. And a lot of times students have questions because sometimes it doesn't look clear. Ultimately, we're that safety net for you guys in that sense. When you guys don't know a certain direction to go, we're there to provide some insight for you. But the main guidance we provide is those intricate questions you might have about your major. Some detailed questions about, making sure that you fulfill certain requirements. If you want to take this class, is it appropriate, and does it fulfill a requirement in another section of your major? So, and really the other kind of aspect I really enjoy about what I do is I just love listening to students when they come in and they want to just explore ideas. And we do have the proverbial situations where students come into self-realization, oh my goodness, it's the end of my junior year, I got to start looking for a job. And so we get that every year. And so we're there to provide a sense of referrals for, career center, for research, for referencing, specifically for internships, for example, that starts through the career center. So we elaborate on these things for you guys, and hopefully we connect in a way that kind of makes you get connected to other parts on campus, programs, and services. So ultimately, that's our goal in the end. So I don't know if what Courtney and anyone else, Maria, has insight on that.
Yeah, any additions, Maria, Courtney?
Yeah, just to piggyback off of what Javier said, I met with a student today, she's a freshman, and I really appreciate helping students, not just with the academic aspect of what we do, but connecting them to resources. And this student, I really appreciate how she's been literally coming to see me for advising at least a couple of times each quarter since she started in the fall. And she really relies on my advice about, today was about housing and dorming and roommate issues. And, she's from San Diego. And so she's living on campus, and she looks to advising as, that person who can help give her insight about college life, how to balance, her personal life with academics. And I love to help students with that. And I love that part of the job as well. So in advising, we do, encourage students to reach out to us. Don't be afraid. We may not can give you all the answers on everything, but we're definitely here to listen and connect you to all the resources, academically and personally. So I hope you guys, definitely use advising if you decide to come.
Yeah, I think the thing that is most powerful is just, it's really a community of care at Riverside, in terms of everybody from faculty to staff to students to all your peers that are helping, the peer leaders, right, that are here on this group message to help with supplemental instruction, with other components to really help everybody be successful here. It's a team effort on that. So students, other things that you think are important to highlight about CNAS or UCR that we haven't talked about?
Really something that I've really enjoyed, especially now that we are all on campus and in person, is how easy it is to get involved. And we even saw this while we were online, but it's just so much easier now in person, having like different clubs tabling every Wednesday and just being able to go up and say like, oh, like surf club looks cool. I don't know how to surf, but now I'm in surf club, So even outside of academics, everything is so easy to get involved in, so easy to just like make connections and reach out to new people, which is something that I really like.
I can second that. I've really enjoyed getting involved on campus, been part of several societies, several clubs, including including the Society of Physics students, and I've been also been part of the Science Ambassadors. It's been an amazing experience to develop your skills. And the nice thing about the campus is that it's pretty green. It's everywhere you look, there's like nature, and it's pretty nice. It's like you'd want to come on campus just to witness that. That's pretty amazing. There's also the Botanic Garden. You should check it out. But yeah, it's pretty good.
And then another thing that I personally loved is I was a bit fearful coming into the university and transitioning to a different way of learning and presenting myself and looking at who I'm going to become. UCR has limitless amount of resources available to students. And even if you don't know where to look, often if you ask for help, people on campus are more than welcome to point you in the right direction and make sure you get the resource that you need to, whether that's achieving your goal or handle an issue. There has never been a time where I have felt alone in having to figure out my own means, especially if it's been something that has been fearful to me. And I think that is something that's amazing here on campus.
I want to introduce to Dr. Nugent's joined us. She's our Dean of Student Affairs for both undergraduate and graduate. So if there's anything that you wanted to throw in as a welcome to everybody.
I just want to say hi. I've been lurking here as a hummingbird. Posting a few things in the chat. Yeah, and I'm just glad you guys all came out, and thank you, Dr. Hooley, for talking about chemistry and the campus. And I'll just say for, all the majors you guys are coming into, there's great aspects of each major and that help make it feel like a smaller major too. So that's one good thing. And yeah, I don't know if any of you attended our science lecture series, but we just completed 4 weeks of having different faculty who are doing big data talk about how that fits in with their research. And so for what you guys are interested in here today, I think a lot of these talks you may find really interesting. So and we have videos of the talks that are getting posted. They're not all done yet, but they'll be there. So that would be the other thing just to check out. And it's kind of an example of the sort of thing that, you can participate in as an undergraduate.
Great. How about those of you joining us, typing in the chat where you're here from, where you're coming from? Something beyond United States or California or something a little more specific.
Or for Professor Hooley's background, planet Earth.
That's why my accent is so weird.
I'm referring to the spaceship.
Oh, physical background. Yes.
The one behind, yeah.
Yeah, the Star Destroyer.
The destroyer, right? Yeah.
We need real backgrounds, not these, fake ones.
I will add, I went to staff goat yoga yesterday, and not every campus has that. I'm just saying. So there's opportunities for everybody across the campus that are a little different. So I hope that maybe that gets you excited about opportunities here too. So.
Well, actually, on a serious note with that, there's actually a really well-developed wellness program here on campus. So there's wellness, services for students. The other thing is like a wellness overall program, not just for staff, faculty, for students as well. The reference to the surfing club is an example, but they have them kind of assigned throughout. So one thing that's kind of emerged as a consistent offering for wellness programming and just things if you can attend is yoga. There's been frequent, advertisements for that. So you guys can be part of those things as well. So there is a mindful intent on that stuff. Oh yeah, yes. Thank you for that, Madeline. They do have dogs. They bring in puppies and dogs for stress relief. Yeah.
And the person right next to me doing goat yoga, she's in charge of the outdoor rec center. That's a place where you can also check out tents, go camping, paddle boards, surfboards, whole bunch of things like that. So there's a lot of really good opportunities for getting out and enjoying the area too. So That's why I was asking where you're from, even though nobody responded. But if you're not from right here, that's a great opportunity too to explore the area. So, oh, there we go. Bailey chimed in. Okay, awesome.
You know, the other aspect, I think, you know, this has kind of been conveyed, but to kind of make it a little more concrete is that physically the campus is pretty centralized. You know, yes, it can take a walk from one end to the other, but I've been to other campuses where they're pretty, you know, sparse and they're spread out. And so there is a sense of community with the university itself. I consider it pretty close knit. I actually got my bachelor's from UCR also. And it always felt centralized. I really felt like it was a really communal aspect of higher ed. I felt involved with it. So overall, there was the sense of being able to be part of that community, at least in my experience. And so I think the physicality of the campus allows that. So.
Right. Well, any last minute, now's your time, last minute questions for Dr. Hooley, for our students, advisors. We're here for you. So
Can I ask students who are attending, how many of you guys are transfer students? If you just want to raise your hand, or are you all first years? So Matt's a transfer student. All right. Because I don't know how much we talked about, but we build out a lot of support for our first year students as well as our transfer students. And I don't know if Salim or Ginny want to talk about that specifically, or maybe you did in my.
Well, as a transfer student, I was like greatly accommodated in a way that, you know, everything was set in place in a way that I would graduate in 2 years. And yeah, everything went well when it comes to making sure that I graduate and taking the right classes and being always on track and whatnot. There's been also like many workshops to get you up to speed with the course systems. And yeah, overall, it's been a great experience as a transfer. If you have any questions regarding that, I'll be sending out my email in the chat, so feel free to reach out to me.
great. And I put a link in the chat too, if that's something you're able to attend on Saturday and are a transfer student. We'll have tours of the buildings, that sort of thing as well. So from our science ambassadors. So okay.
I also put in there in the link for the chat, a link in the chat about STEM connections. And so one of the efforts that our STEM's connection coordinator makes is to outreach to incoming transfers, to get them to participate in workshops, to get that immediate connection. The whole thing of trying to understand, one, the campus itself, two, where things are, but three, also just seeing some familiar faces right from the beginning. And so it's informal workshops, but a lot of information is provided even as you begin to prepare for final enrollment and so forth. So those are things to keep in mind. So it is STEM Connections.
Great. And a couple of emails in the chat if you want to follow up with our science ambassadors with any other questions. So, okay. Last chance. Any final opportunities? Unmute, chat.
I don't know if you have questions about housing, the community. You know, our ambassadors have lived this experience, so they can answer anything on that. Advisors can answer all kinds of questions as well. Transcripts. When
We
things
also
are
have burrows that walk through the campus.
yes,
Have
we
you
do.
seen the burrows? You're not going to see that a lot of places too. Just saying, very unique.
Yeah. Is there anything else, Jenny or Maddie, that you would like to add?
I'm sorry to
Something you
interrupt, but I
wish-
do have a question.
Yeah.
Is tutoring a thing for UCR? I'm coming straight from Saddleback College, and I'm actually one of the chemistry tutors for the department. And I was just wondering if there's opportunities for either people to go to or to become a chemistry tutor for the school.
Yeah, so one of the things that you will find once you're in a learning community, or even if you're not in one, an option that's available to you is something called supplemental instruction. And so that's basically extra practice for your hardest classes. So for me, it was chem. And every week I got to go to supplemental instruction with my supplemental instruction leader. And we just go over problems that we weren't understanding. We'd kind of do mock quizzes. We'd get to work with other students in our class to really just solidify the information and do better. And then besides supplemental instruction, which I believe is offered for chem, definitely math, I think even bio, among other classes, we also have the Academic Resource Center, which you can go to in person, and they will have tutoring also for different subjects and also for class specific subjects. So if you, for example, if you need help on calc, you can go to the ARC, the Academic Resource Center, and get help on your calc homework.
Awesome, thank you.
And you can apply to be ARC leaders and SI instructors.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think there's a fair number of opportunities for students to get involved in jobs like that. So yeah, we do lots of hiring in that area. You know, we're even like in the dynamic genome lab, we hire undergraduates to help as lab assistants. So they're not TAs, but they help in the classroom as well. And so campus is exploring, you know, adding more undergraduate positions like that. We'll see. We don't have them yet.
And then another thing that I also wanted to add on, I'm not sure exactly the name of these courses, but some students who really see themselves going into teaching in a teaching profession and want to test that out in their undergraduate, you actually have the ability during more towards your senior year to actually create a class that you can teach. You create your own schedule, your concrete material, and it can be on multiple disciplines and multiple subjects. And a lot of times this is for students in their senior year and their last few quarters to practice actually teaching and lecturing to a class about 20 students. So we do have opportunities like that you can take in.
Yeah, and the art courses look like a lot of fun, actually. And I also, for the MTSS major, well, and really any of you, we also have the Cal Teach Science Math Initiative and the chemistry teaching as well. But so there's lots of mentoring and opportunities for internships in, you know, with school districts so that you're ready to go. And so you'll have both the subject matter expertise plus the pedagogy training.
Right. Okay, well, I want to thank everybody for joining tonight. Thank Dr. Hooley for presentation and the summary of chemistry. And I think he's a very dedicated faculty advisor and lead, and you saw that whole series that we've developed. That's all out of their group in terms of helping create more community. And that's really what we're focused on here, that I think is really unique and something that we hope to have you as a part of. So again, look forward to hopefully seeing you all here. If not, if there's any follow-up questions, please feel free to reach out to us. And we'll work on also getting this posted on the website as well, so you'll have that for reference. So, okay, have a nice evening, everybody.